So we finally got it. We finally got the full picture of Shunsui and Nanao's backstory. So, we come to find out why Shunsui really wears the kimono, like when he started wearing it, and then also with the hairpins and just his connection with Nanao. We get a little bit more clarification with that in this chapter of Bleach. And before I go any further into talking about this chapter, I just gotta say, I really enjoyed this chapter for that. I mean, I know I have mixed feelings about certain things when it comes to how Nanao's, Zanpakuto is, but besides that, when it came to the backstory, I did like that, getting to see how Nanao had more of a backstory fleshed out along with, Shunsui and how many promises he's made and how he carries it. Just a really good chapter in that regard. So, getting into the flashback, which really fascinated me, we come to find out that Shunsui, we always thought he was one of those characters that were laid back. Like, he always seemed to be that type of character. That's the impression he gave many of us in earlier parts of the series. And seeing this chapter, it's such a different way to look at his character now after thinking about it, because he has so much weight on his shoulders. He's had to deal with so many problems or issues to where he's had to carry these promises from his dead loved ones or people he's cared about that's passed on. He's had to hold on to these promises. For instance, what he's doing for, Nanao's mother, carrying on, holding the sword back, not giving it to Nanao, the kimono, the hairpins. Like, he's held on for so long with these promises, it burdens him. And it's very sad. It's a very tragic and sad backstory for him. And then also seeing how Nanao was able to key in on this and notice when he changed or when he put on this kimono, and then the hairpins or when he took them out, she actually realized that, which was a really cool part about the chapter, which I'm glad Koobs decided to dive back into when it came to Bleach. So, the fight continues on with Nanao versus Chicken Lily, and I gotta admit, Lily's design is starting to kind of, even though it's fucking wonky or wacky, whatever word you want to attach to him, I am kind of growing a little bit used to his form, which I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. That's up to everybody's understanding what I just said. So, Lily, however, he says that he is happy to be said that he is a god. For instance, when Nanao's like, this is a god-slaying sword and all that, and he's like, I'm kind of happy that you're willing to call me, like, something like a god. And when you see it to where Nanao, like, sliced him, you see it went through him barely, that was kind of letting us know that, at the very least, Chicken Lily has made it to that level. Like, he's almost to god status. But then, I don't think he's fully god status, because if he really was, I feel like Lily would be KO'd instantly. Because let's look at the facts with this chapter. For one, as we can see from the start of the fight with, Nanao using the Zanpakuto, it uses the god's, like, strength against him, or their abilities against him, and so that means the level of the god depends on the level of damage they'll receive. And since Lily is not really that high up there as a god, like, if this was Balk, I'm assuming it would be heavier damage, like, a lot more damage than what Lily received. But Lily, since he's not fully a god, he was able to survive that attack. So, that's pretty cool. I think that's what Koobs was trying to kind of imply when it came to that. Because, I mean, with last chapter, we found out that the blade would kind of smack down a fucking god like one hit shot. Like, just slap Balk and he's done. Which could possibly still happen, since Balk is probably the closest to the god right now in the series, besides Aizen, of course. So, yeah, that's probably how Lily survived that. Which makes me happy, by the way. I'm glad Lily didn't get one-shotted, because I was going to be a little bit upset if that happened. I probably would have been a little bit salty if I would have saw Lily get, like, one-shotted by Nanao, by this, Zanpakuto that came out of kind of nowhere last chapter. I would have been a little bit upset, but to see how it didn't, good job, Koobs. Good job, Koobs. So, you have it to where Shunsui, like, I will protect you. And he comes out and he's like, here, I'll help you out. And then the chapter ends with Shunsui right behind Nanao about to help her out fight Lily. And as we know, Shunsui is in no condition to fight. Like, I mean, he has holes. Like, he's holy right now. And I don't really think he could put up a good fight, or even fight at all with the wounds he's received from Lily. But also, supposedly the Bankai, you know, what he was using, that was kind of one of his final moves. So if that didn't work, what is he going to be doing? But also with how he was carrying on and giving up the mantle to Nanao last week, it just doesn't make a lick of sense with how he just jumps up and wants to do this now and fight with her. Oh yeah, one more thing before I end this review. I think it was implied that Nanao's mother was executed for hiding the sword. For instance, giving the sword to Shunsui and then hiding it. I think the way Coops was trying to imply that was that Nanao's mother was executed for that very reason. So that's pretty tragic as well if that's exactly what really did happen. So anyways, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.